And the conservative people like to be in the middle of the things that are known. And they can master that space, and they're good at maintaining it. But the artists like to be right out on the edge, and that's the edge between chaos and order.
Yes, I kind of look at art school kind of like the Catholic Church. You know, it's desperate for attention, and well as preaching an outdated indoctrination.
I vividly remember being told two things in a contemporary art class the senior year of my BFA program. One, never smile next to your paintings and photographs. And two, don't ever be a sellout. What they don't teach you is what to do after you graduate, about the business of art. They teach you nothing about financial literacy, marketing vehicles, how to build a brand, or how to exist within the vast global ecosystem without legacy or patronage.
This is why I'm making this video, because I think there's someone out there who could really use this video and take the favorite parts of this, or tell me to go screw myself. But you know, this is trial by fire, and so these are the things that are my issues of what I think art school doesn't teach you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for visiting. I'm Henry Haight. If you're new here, I'm a multidisciplinary artist where we discuss all things art, topic of art, creation of art, theories, practices, yada yada yada, my bon mots, my wittiness, and my craziness. So thank you for stopping by and welcome. My pronouns are
Miley, what's good?
And
Yeah, I'm not afraid of you, bitch.
and if you're feeling a little sexy, this is gonna get you some booty too. It's been a while since I've been reposted. I've had a busy June, July. There was two paintings went up for display for summer shows. One at the Orange County Center for Contemporary Art, and the other at the voter registration in Inland Empire, Riverside. I'm trying to recalibrate myself, as well as shipping artwork out to the UK to my primary art dealer, and also looking after my folks. So anyhow, what they don't teach you in art school, and this topic could be a bone of contention because there's a lot of hullabaloo on YouTube from former art students that are people who taken a few art classes and giving their 2 cents about the art institutions and the outdated. Yes, I kind of look at art school kind of like the Catholic Church. You know, it's desperate for attention, and well as preaching an outdated indoctrination. So the thing of this is me going to art school and dropping out. I thought, you know, there are certain things looking back at my 30 plus years that they didn't teach you that I had to learn outside of art school. YouTube and social media tend to be a fast track, and there are artists who claim they're artists who are content creators, but here's the reality. They aren't working artists, and I don't think they deal with the same problems as working artists do. And this is what this video is about. Because for those limited number of people who want to seriously take art, not as a hobby or a whim, but really give this a go, and like the dean of students said, only 3% of a graduating class will make a living at art. That is a slim number annually for each class, each school, wherever. Or those who virtually are self-taught and then go gung-ho balls deep to make this their calling, because there is a tension within that ecosphere that is both thrilling and maddening, because there's no hundreds of books. There are hundreds of videos on YouTube. Like, if this is, you buy this and this is how you're going to make it. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at an art career like the game Chutes and Ladders, or in the UK Snakes and Ladders, one misstep could knock you down to another point. And that's what an art career actually feels like. Especially now with the day and age of political correctness, wokeism. I'm all for speaking your mind, but art in the written word, musical, whatever, any misstep, someone could be counseled for simply being human, and they're not granted the luxury of just making a mistake and apologizing for it. You know, just because you were raised with a smartphone neither makes you enlightened or smart. I'm just saying. Now, you don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with me, that's fine. That's what makes the world go round. But the reality is that there are certain things that certain people within the YouTube sphere or social media, like, follow these things and you too will make it. Buy my product, you too will make it. Give me your money, you too will make it. However, what it boils down to is you, not me, have to do the work. So what I'd like you to do is come a little closer. A little closer. A little closer. Come on. Come. Okay, that's too fucking close. Now. Anywho, this is why I'm making this video, because I think there's someone out there who could really use this video and take the favorite parts of this, or tell me to go screw myself. But you know, this is trial by fire, and so these are the things that are my issues of what I think art school doesn't teach you. Okay, there's no clear answer on how, in a surefire way, to be a successful working artist with a sustainable living wage. When globalization and big business is bleeding the workforce dry for maximum profits, and as you already know, only a few musicians. Well, not everybody can be a Beyonce or Taylor Swift. Not everybody could be an actor, like a Brad Pitt, or there are people who just are that working actor, that character actor, and it's a grind. And the thing I've learned about YouTube is that too can be a grind, because when I make these videos, it's a passion. The passion is my driving force. I won't do anything unless I'm not passionate about it, and I have to be passionate about, be it a relationship, an art piece, my job, my life. If I'm not passionate, fuck it, I'm not doing it. Art school teaches you several things. It teaches you technique, color theory, art history, art presentation, understanding of mediums, solvents, the scientific background and how those things work, curation, artistic skill development, as well as artistic provenance, art theory. It's the things of the technical capabilities of what an artist is. What it doesn't teach you to do is how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a savvy social media guru, how to actually write an art grant, how to approach a gallery. The whole thing is you're working towards a portfolio, you do your graduate show, and hopefully you are ordained and tapped and someone says, I like you. That doesn't guarantee you an art career. It just says, okay, this is this year's, beef on parade. Come and get it. And we all hope, pick me. And virtually one of the things that art school doesn't teach you is that you are always going to hear the word no. Now, no could be both a good thing and a bad thing, much like the Japanese look at crisis and opportunity as the same thing. Artists are going to hear no a lot, because you are going to hear no from gallery directors, art curators, art consultants, jury selection shows, art fair juries. There's always a hurdle. So that is one thing that you are always going to be faced with, because it is the nature of this business. There are people who sit there and say, does this person's art align with the rest of the art that I am actually showing? And where do we put, you have to look at what you want to do, kind of like an atelier or a fashion house. You are the creative director. You are the creative director of your own house. So therefore, you not only building a house, but you're building and curating your own brand. And this is what's going to give people, I know people say, oh, well, if I have an affiliation to a need that fills this need, or that I solves a problem, that's part of it. But the other part is we're dealing with art, and we're not splitting the atom, or we're not curing cancer, because a painting or a drawing or an art print is not a necessity. It is a luxury good, first and foremost. Okay, we don't need it. It's not like a haircut. It's not like, groceries. It is something that virtually people want to connect with in an emotional sense for their home, or with, like, what a lot of artists hate is that word of decorative art, just to fill a wall fill a space and a void on a wall. And I've said this quote before. Mark Rothko believed that the biggest problem that artists has taking the space of a rich man's wall. Depending on your price point, you have to look at it that way too. Now, some people could say that's selling out, but you have to be business savvy about this. So why gamble with something like this when there is no surefire way of how to be a successful working artist? Because one, it is a physical need to create something, as well as there's a high risk, high payoff for this thing. And you are adding the building blocks to your fashion house on the pillars of failure. You are building also a pyramid of success, a point. So you have to think of it like Zen archery. That is the one thing that art school doesn't necessarily prepare you for, or they don't tell you these things. One of my failures is that I have actually submitted 4 times to the Royal Academy of Art in London for their summer shows, and they take professional artists, regular people, and they mix and match and everything. They get, the blue chip artists and it looks good on your resume. And that was one of the reasons, I wanted it on my resume. And then, I got the approval of 6 old coots that look at my art for like 10 seconds and say yes or no. And that's the reality of it. And I remember telling a client I was tattooing that, I got my 4th letter of email saying, yep, come, nope, not happening. And he goes, oh, my neighbor's daughter got picked for the summer show. And I'm like, really? What? I'm like, how? And he goes, she's only 10. And I was like, that fucking bitch. I can't be, yes, I was jealous of a 10-year-old girl, but, they just think, so like, how is this? It is a luck of the draw, people. An art career can be a luck of the draw, but you still have to keep at it. And it sounds crazy for me to sit there and go, yes, sir, you're probably going to be jealous of a 10-year-old girl who's like showing at the Royal Academy of Art summer show, and you suck, whatever. And you know what? The whole thing is that when I saw how the process of how they pick this art, unlike the blue chip artists who have names that their work sells for hundreds of thousands of pounds, it is still a business, so I can't take it personally. I'll be mad for about a half hour or an hour, or 2 hours. But the reality is, I have to let that shit go, and so do you. You have to let that shit go, because you put it into the next work. I used to tell my staff, when they felt like they got a bad review on a tattoo, or the person wasn't happy because the blue wasn't blue enough or bluish, or whatever. It was just like, what, put it in the next piece of work. And that's what you should do with your work, is because it is a challenge to you to go, okay, I can overcome this. You still have to treat this like a business. And although you have your artist cap on, you also have to manage your phantom twin limb as a businessman or a business person. Don't be a boss babe, because that whole I'm a boss. No, you are a business, financial literate person, and fuck you, pay me, Make sure things are, if you give us a consignment or a hand note to a gallery director or an art consultant, you have them sign this and say, I don't want my shit going to secondary vendors and them making money off of renting your artwork out, because once it's in writing and they sign it, you got a contract. And make sure things are in writing, because you have to be savvy to protect your own ass. And that is the thing that you have to do. You are looking out for you, your house, and your brand, and most of all, your artwork. Working artists don't have the luxury of collectors, patrons who support them, or as well as brand endorsements. I'm not talking about YouTubers who get sponsorships, because the majority of them get sponsorship from businesses that aren't actually art related. They are just social media platforms or websites or financial kind of things, what have you, or leather goods, but it isn't about art or anything like that. And the reality is, rarely, most of them don't even get commissioned to do art from any of these companies. Which, if I'm like, hey, let me fucking put my art in some of this, or intertwine the art and commerce, because that's what you're trying to do. You have to learn how to intertwine art and commerce together. When a brand contacts me, my job is to virtually give them some form of street credibility, as well as attract the mindset and the eyes and the attention span of a particular demographic, while promoting the brand, and how somehow incorporate my artwork while not diluting their message or whatever. But I have to follow a brief. But you have to learn time management, and you have to learn how to deliver on the dot. And that is the thing, again, it goes back to learning how to discipline yourself in time management, because it's your ass on the line. And this is, again, the building block to virtually adding another block. You could fail, but it's a block into your pyramid of success. I digress. But the whole thing is you learning how to merge art and commerce, and you have to learn your own hustle at your own speed. But you also have to remember, someone behind you, next to you, or around you may be hungrier, and you have to deliver. So how are you going to handle that? It's something that you have to consider when dealing with your art career, and how you want to get to your represent your fashion house, because these are the ethics that are going to help you get further. Recently, I've gotten a few emails. Occasionally I get emails, but recently I was getting a particular email from this one particular person, and it is a notorious art scam where a collector says, I love your art, I'm a big fan, blah blah blah, it's a gift for my wife, or it's a gift for our new home, blah blah blah, we're moving from this to that, and I want to buy your art. However, it's a surprise, but like giving the bank details of my art, somehow it's all fishy, because this one, the guy claimed that he was buying it for his wife as an anniversary gift, but it's a surprise, but she handles all the financial things. And okay, I'm like, if she handles all the financial things, if you handling your own penny per penny. And he would send me the check and wire, and then virtually I would have to send him the artwork, and virtually a lot of these things are kind of like laundering. It is, once you start to read them, part of a lot of people are desperate to want to sell work. I get that, because you could make a lot of money selling your art at high price points. But within these, you have to be very savvy about when to fish out these scams, where they sit there and you try to like cross-reference who this person is, and if the price is already there on my website, so I don't understand why they're asking me to send their prices. They're just randomly, willy-nilly. You have to be very, very mindful of these things, because they are pitfalls. Like I said, you have to look at the art market as a game of chutes and ladders. One misstep and you could fall, and you're back to square one, or you could get in trouble, or you find that you've sold something to someone who doesn't have your best intentions at heart. The other thing that you need to do is to just be aware of your outgoings within your house, because that is a thing that is also going to cash flow. You're either putting too much money in and not getting any back. You have to be mindful of that. But again, it's okay to make mistakes, and that is one thing that the art school doesn't teach you, that you are going to make mistakes, and that's all right. Hearing no, falling on your face, getting up, dusting yourself up, and keep going is part of this hustle. It is rewarding because eventually, if you visualize something and you truly believe in yourself, you will eventually get there, but it'll be on your own terms and on your own work. Okay? I'm just saying. You know, when I was talking about juries and stuff and your atelier, you also have to be mindful of how you present your brand. And there was a girl, I forgot her name, Krystal Cole Art, where she made a video about some complaints that her signage was cheapening their art. Now, again, when you're an atelier or a brand and your price points are around 500 to 3,000 and you're next to someone who has a sign saying $17.99, I would be very, very pissed, because one, people respond to visuals and by association. Yeah, I don't think that Gucci or Saint Laurent would love to be next to the Dollar Tree. So therefore, if the planners of this show put a high-end price point artist with a mid-range, or it could be quite frustrating, because then they have the association, well, this person's selling this for this much, why aren't you selling something for $17.99? And here I'm selling prints for $500 to $2,500 and paintings for $5,000 to $14,000. You know, and this girl's got $17.99. I'm not exactly, selling art at Casual Corner or Blouse Barn.
Skanky.
Excuse me?
You called my store skanky.
That's, yes, I'm a bougie bitch, but I worked my ass off. And, I would not stick a $17.99. If you have $17.99, if you want to be frugal about your work, have a studio day or do an online flash sale where you're selling damaged prints or what have you for a couple of days at these price points to offload them, so you're not filling up your studio with a bunch of dead stock. These are the things you have to consider, and this is what art school doesn't teach you, because you will accumulate a lot of things. With an art show, yes, I would complain and say, I don't want to be next to someone like this. If I'm next to someone like this, yeah, I'm going to kick up a stink about it, because it's not personal, it is business, because I'm looking after my own brand, and I would ask this person first, take your shit down, or I'm going to make them take it down for you. It sounds awful to say that, but I'm protecting my own brand. And virtually, if I have a double booth, and I paid virtually $3,500 for an art booth, the same goes with the tattoo thing. How you present yourself is how people respond to your work. Art school will only teach you so much about presentation. The rest is through trial and error. And virtually, you're trying to get your price points to this. With your atelier and your artist brand, you need your high-level tier price margins, your mid-level, and your entry-level, where people don't think about these things. And I have those things from stickers, bump stickers. I normally give those away just for promotion, so I put them at the bottom. But pens and stuff, and it's things to just put the name Henry Haight and my tattoo business and website out. And that's how it works for me. T-shirts and stuff are another great way of advertisement, because I have these walking billboards that people wearing my art on their skin as brands, walking billboards saying my name. Now, one of the most important things that I think that art school doesn't teach you, and this is a big one, is they don't teach you artist integrity. And in the day and age of social media, everyone is talking about authenticity and, being authentic. and transparency. But the reality is, I look at a lot of these people kind of like, the Wizard of Oz. There's a dude behind the curtain pulling the levers and, smoke. And it's all for show, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I do believe that social media is curated. It's partly fake. It's a gloss. It's a glamour. But sometimes, an art career is a grind. It's lonely. It's long hours. It's 75% bullshit, 25% awesome. And the awesome is the addictive part. Yep. God damn, is that Ritz? I want more. That is the thing that drives our passion, because you want that spark.
I gotta get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and sparkle, Neely, sparkle.
Artistic integrity is something that we have to develop over time, because within the art market and art and commerce, not all money is good money. We have to weed out the garbage and the white noise and figure out what really matters to us and our artistic voice and our artistic integrity. Again, there's nothing wrong with selling prints for $17.99, posters for $17.99. I get it, it's a business. There are people who are going to try to lowball you, and this is where you have to learn not only your true worth, but your value of your art and your voice, and what you're willing to sell that for. A case in point, there was a gentleman who did the Pride thing for Target, and then there was a big brouhaha that it was satanic and stuff. I wasn't a fan of the art personally, because I'm 57, and I just think no, this for kiddies, and as I didn't think it was necessarily great art or good art. But what annoyed me, and I remember sending him a message going, you apologizing for your art is the nail in your coffin, because I don't think artists should always apologize for certain things. I was like, I am me. This is who I am. I am not going to apologize for that. However, I do think that Target itself, taking the job by Target, it was making a deal with the devil in the first place. When I'm approached by brands, I have to think, do I use a product? Can I? What does the company? What are the company's ethics? And would this company bring me a larger audience? What are the logistics? And this is the thing that you start talking to this panel of people, group of people, the creative director, project manager, all those others that virtually sign off on it, that they're trying to get a cohesive thing to where all the I's, dots, and T's are dotted and exclamation points are in the same point, because you're bringing yourself into this loop with these people, and it also represents you on what you value your artistic integrity. I didn't become an artist for the money, that much to the annoyance of my ex-husband. But money isn't a running factor in why I do what I do. It's a byproduct. First and foremost, I do this because I love what I do. When I've been offered jobs, I've said no because I don't particularly like the company, or I think they're just they're looking for the hot flavor of right now, and I'm like, not for me. But say something like, Fred Perry, that they are classically cool. They are intertwined in subcultures throughout history, tennis, and I was just like, that was a no-brainer. But there are times where I have to call into question if I'm going to take a job for monetary value, because it also reflects on me, on what I'm available for sale for, my artistic soul. That is the thing that I have to think about. Art school doesn't teach you that. I don't think it's going to come, within a year or whatever. Yes, you'll have artistic integrity of your principles, but as you go more and develop into your art career, those things will change to where your ethos will become a lot more solid and clear of who you are as a person. Your work and failures are all about who you are as an artist. Who are you? What are you? Why do you do what you do? It is all going to be prevalent in the body of work and that pyramid of building your house. So that is why I think that art school doesn't, because it's far more complex, and this is why you don't mix, oil and acrylic. it runs much deeper than that. Trying to learn certain things to virtually give you the stamina. It's one thing to teach you art, technically, but it's another to keep you going and keeping your momentum, the ability to hear the word no and keep going, the rejection, the acceptance, the failures, and then keep creating. Even when you override, that inner voice of doubt, to keep going, because first and foremost, it is down to you. So that's what I think art school doesn't teach you. But what I think you can do is you can diversify, be true to yourself. You won't be right, you won't be wrong, but you will be correct. I guarantee that. Visualize while you're doing this to see where you want to go, because if you visualize it while you're doing it, I think the karmic plane of you putting the drops in the bucket will get you closer to that. I've done that, visualize seeing myself to do these things, and it's worked because I truly believe in it, to where I think it's a power of suggestion, that I'm doing the work, I'm showing up even when I don't want to. I'm making this video when I'd rather be eating cheesecake, watching crappy television, but I'm talking to you guys, and that is who I am. I am known around the world as a tattoo artist as well as a visual artist, but globally as a tattoo artist. But when I started, I wanted to be an illustrator, and nobody was giving me a job as an illustrator, and apparently illustrating jobs are dry. But the thing that I could give to you, to a 57-year-old man who's done this, is to adapt, listen to your gut, keep creating, don't beat yourself up when you fail, dust yourself off, give yourself a breather, and keep going, because where you want to go in your goals and how you see where you want to put your art, you will attract the type of collectors that you are as a person. That is your brand. That is your house. And you are the creative director of that house to take it anywhere you want. So with that, I'm going to shut up. And I want to thank you again for watching this video, make it all the way through. So hit that notification bell for all the updates, likes, and new video posts. And don't forget to subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments and what you'd like to see. Again, thanks for watching. I'm Henry Haight. You have a good night. Look after yourselves, and first and foremost, keep making art. It's up to you. Okay? Bye.
Your call? Oh no!